see me okay on this wall. So I've been watching some guys on YouTube sanding with those power sanders. Matter of fact, I've got a video of one of those power sanders too. I'll put a little clip of it right here, right now, so you can see these power sanders that are out there for sale. But I'm a smooth wall finisher, guys, and I've been a smooth wall finisher since I started taping. I did a little bit of texture in I gotta say, the early 80s. I worked in Florida for a little bit, and I worked in Arizona for a little bit, and we did some knockdowns, some skip trowels, some popcorn ceilings. So very little though. For probably 80, let me think. Hey, I've been taping since 1976, so how many years is that? So 5 of those years I dealt with texture. All of the other times I've only done smooth wall. Now I've pre-filled this with real Durabond, the real stuff. I taped it with an ultralight taping compound. I topped it with pigmented +3, and I skimmed it with pigmented +3. These screws, I topped with pigmented +3 my first coat, and I skimmed them. I topped it with a 6 and did a small thing just to make sure the screws were all filled, and then I skimmed them with an 8. So 2 coats on my screws, right? They're perfect, absolutely perfect. But I do see my knife, now that I have this light shined on here, my knife has a couple of little nicks in it, dings in it, but those will dust right out. I mean, those don't look any worse than probably a scratch on some sandpaper. So now I'm gonna sand this. And if I put a power sander on here and started power sanding this, I would take the mud right off the top of the tape, and I don't wanna do that. There's very little mud on here. It's not crowned. If I threw a big straight edge on here, you'll see that this wall is really smooth. It's really nice. It's not crowned. But what happens too, once I sand this, I'm gonna have paper rough. I'm gonna have some paper rough on the 2 sides. Now here in the state of Illinois, in the suburbs, we don't fix that. The painters fix this. What they'll do is they'll prime this wall, they'll prime it out, they'll run a sand pole on it, and then they will paint it. And that's how they get rid of the paper rough, and they give it a stipple on the wall, which creates, so you can't see all of the smooth to the drywall, because these are 2 different textures. This drywall is a different texture than this, and where the paper rough is, that's a different texture there. So you got 1, 2, 3 different textures here. And the minute you prime this, if you just sprayed this, you're gonna see all 3 different textures, and every single screw and every single seam is gonna flash like crazy. But when I sand, this is a very, very, very light sand pole. I will use something like this. Or I will use this. And everybody knows about these. These have been around for as long as I've been sanding, if not longer. Matter of fact, they first came out with these when the dinosaurs were around. But what I'm going to sand with right now today is this. This is a very light sander. I need very light sanding, and I don't need much. All I'm doing is I'm just taking off the edges. That's all I'm doing. If there's an edge, I just want to sand the edge. I don't want to grind this. If I'm grinding this, if you have to grind this down, guys, put another coat on. Put another coat on, because you should not have to grind this. I probably should have used that light when I skimmed, because I'm seeing some edges that I kind of wish I would have gotten rid of when I was touching up. But this is going to sand really easy. Really easy. And again, I'm just putting very little pressure on here. Now, believe it or not, this is a very lightweight sander. This sanding thing is super light. This is plastic. This one's a little heavier. This one right here, and the grit's the same. It's 120 grit, but this one's a little bit heavier, and I don't have to sand nearly as hard with this, because it's a heavier sander. And if I ground this down, I could just take the mud right off the top of this tape, which is not good. So I don't want to grind anything. And I just want to work on the edges, and then dust down the center very lightly to take out any imperfections that I might have. I got some sort of scratch on here. I'm seeing that right now. This is bad. I need a new one of these. It's got some problems with it, and I definitely need a new one of these. But you kind of look for that. So, if you need a close-up to see what's going on here, I hope I can do this. This is beautiful. There's no touch up here. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to hand sand anything. Everything so far that I've done is just, I do have a little scratch right here. I'm seeing it right now that I have to take out. And, but it's perfect. It's all ready to prime and paint. I have to do nothing else here. I don't have to skim out the wall complete. This is smooth wall. And if it was flat wall, I would come in here with some gigantic straight edges and see where I might have some dips where there might be a stud out of place or something might be off. But believe it or not, I did all of the taping and finishing in here, and I didn't see that anywhere in here. They do have a couple of spots back here where they hung the drywall, and they have 1/2 inch butted up to 5/8, so I had to float that in. And other than that, it's come out very flat, very nice, very smooth. You guys, if you have to sand too much, put another coat on it. You should only have to dust this stuff off. Have a good day. Hey, if you really like the videos, subscribe. And if you really, really like the videos, please just share them with somebody else. All right? You guys, have a great day.